is Michael Grauberg, and I'm going to be discussing my consumer here, my consumer nudge, and then my organizational nudge. So, the consumer nudge I'm trying to create is one to reduce the use of plastic bags and disposable bags and use reusable ones. And my plan to do this is to team up with Kroger and the Detroit Lions to make a blue bag with the Detroit Lions and Kroger logo on it for them to sell. And this can be used at Kroger grocery stores to reuse bags and buy groceries. And according to Eric Van Silben of the World Economic Forum, it is estimated that around 8 million metric tons of plastic waste end up in our oceans per year. So this may be just a small number for these plastic bags, but this will help the overall saving. And my demographic here is Detroit Lions fans and people who buy groceries, specifically in the southeast area of Michigan, and that's where my geography will be located as well. So the behavior I'm trying to change here is to get consumers to be more environmentally conscious, to think of using reusable bags to reduce waste. So as I stated, these bags will be sold. It'll be sold for 25 cents, and there'll be a blue bag with the Lions and Kroger logo. So this can work for advertisement for both of Kroger and the Lions, and Kroger can attract some new customers who might not previously be there. And the type of nudge I'm trying to create with this is an encouraging one, because I'm encouraging consumers to use these bags. And then the principal nudge I'm trying to do is an incentive base, and the incentive is using these bags that you buy so you can use as many times as you want, and then also promoting the Detroit Lions, who in return will also have free advertisement after these bags are purchased. And that is the nudge I have. So.
Okay, it's a good idea. I think initially the major concern you may run into is people wanting to spend even a quarter on a bag. And I'm thinking that you might encourage more people to participate in something like this and purchasing the bags and using them if maybe the Lions, since they have a lot to gain from this whole thing, maybe they provide a little bit of extra incentive for people that purchase the bags. You know, if you purchase 5 or 6 or 7 bags, you know, you might have an opportunity to win some sort of sports paraphernalia or something along those lines, just to create interest initially. And I think once people actually purchase the bags and start using them, it'll become habit, and it'll probably be very successful, both for the Lions and for Kroger's. So I just think initially it's getting people involved and excited.
Okay.
So if you can garnish that kind of excitement initially, I think that'll be one of the major problems you might have to overcome initially.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Then my company/organizational nudge. This will be located in Southeast Michigan, specifically with General Motors. And this nudge would be to offer General Motors white-collar employees, specifically at the Renaissance Center in downtown Detroit, a fully paid vacation to the employee who increases their productivity the most. This vacation will be offered quarterly, so 4 people, 4 times a year, and it'll be worth up to $3,000. Now, I'm trying to push a full paid vacation because vacation time for employees really has good benefits, and according to Tanya Moan of Forbes, she looked up a study that was done by the U.S. Travel Association and Oxford Economics, which was basically going into detail about how vacation time can really help employees' mental health, motivation, and morale. So offering a full paid vacation is a good way to increase productivity. And this is good for GM too, because it was just announced that in January they'll be laying off over 15,000 employees and also shutting down 2 plants. So clearly they're trying to maximize their capacity at their existing buildings, and this would be another good way to help with that. So that is also the behavior change I'm trying to promote here. The productivity. I want to change the motivation employees have and get that up to speed. And a way to do this, there's many ways to do this, but the way I want to implement this is to use data, analytics, and statistics. Mainly upper level management at General Motors at the Renaissance Center can assign outputs to employees and then achieve that by taking a sample such as the period of time in which that output is created and divide that by an input to get a cost-benefit ratio. You can also use the human eye as well for visually seeing how these employees are doing throughout the day, and this can be done by supervisors in the building, excuse me. So this will be measured quarterly, and then at the end of the quarter, 4 times a year, one employee will be given this paid vacation. So the type of nudge that I'm trying to create with this is an encouraging nudge, because I'm encouraging high productivity from these existing employees. And this also is an incentive nudge based on principle, the incentive being the vacation, as I've stated, mainly to help the company and the employees, because the company employees will have higher morale and motivation to do their jobs, and then the company will also benefit from this by saving money. And that is my nudge for the organization.
Okay, again, a good idea. I think the major issue you're going to come into with this is how you're going to objectively track people's productivity. And I know you mentioned that. There's just a lot of things that could be looked at subjectively that you know are accountable towards your productivity. And I think rather than just using pure analytics, I think one way to overcome that when you get to the point where you're rewarding this quarterly bonus, if that's what you want to call it, or incentive to people, is maybe you take the top 4 or 5 people who have reached this magic number or magic goal of being considered for the incentive of the vacation, and then almost like doing a random lottery or something like that, because I just think there's like I said before, it's too subjective a lot of times when people think that they're being very, very productive and they might not be, or that's the hardest part I think you're going to run into with that. I think awarding it quarterly is a beautiful thing. That's 4 vacations for people. You know, I know it's a large corporation, but that's quite an incentive, and I think hopefully it would work for people. I just think there's got to be a way to overcome the subjectivity of awarding that incentive.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
You're welcome. My pleasure.